This is Toyota Supra. It's the first time ever actually debuting and displaying itself in Korea. And 0 to 60, officially Toyota pronounced that this model, the base model that I have right in front of me, will do 4.4 seconds, whereas BMW Z4 would do 4.5. And Toyota's official was 4.1 at its best, and I've seen some of the YouTube clips and I've seen a guy do 4.0 flat, and that was with the AIM logger, so I'm pretty sure it's accurate. And the exterior wise, if you look up close, not even up close, but if you look towards the headlights of the Supra, this definitely and certainly is the reminiscent of that of a MK4, the predecessor. Continuing on the legacy with the design, and throughout the Supra mimics a lot of 200 GT from 1960s that Toyota actually left its first step towards racing. The mirrors are straight from the BMW Z4, but other than that, exterior wise, all of the components are unique to this Supra and Supra only. The interior wise, nearly it's almost identical to that of a BMW. I wouldn't say a Z4, but if you just hide the badge, look inside, everybody who owned a BMW would say that it's a BMW. And also, I had the liberty of recording this car with the engine on, and I left the door open, and guess what? The chime sound it made that's straight from the BMW.
That's the chime I talked about.
Okay, continuing on with the exterior, let's go look at that over fender that Toyota is really proud of, and it is gigantic, but the way that this highlights and stands out from the other exterior of the Supra, it really fits well with the scene and the overall car design, obviously. And don't forget this big ducktail. To me, as much as I care and like about the front of the car, I think the booty of the car matters a lot, because this section of the car is what the driver behind you sees directly. The front of the car, you barely see that through the rear view mirror and so on and so on. I don't think there is any point where I would point out and point my finger to when it comes to the rear design of a car. Wait a minute, I just found one, and there is one, but yes. So with the fog light looks like that of a F1, but this is not a fog light, rather it's a reverse light. If you put the car in the reverse, that one lights up, and definitely it's unique and special taste for the Supra and Supra alone. And here is one bummer that I said I would point out. It's really great that Toyota kept the same exact font from the Supra MK4. This Supra font is that legendary font that we all know. However, they put the Toyota font or the logo right underneath that badge. Come on, everybody knows it's Toyota. Just look at the badge up there and then you already know it's Toyota. But then it seems like they really wanted to emphasize and let everybody know that, hey, this car is Toyota. It's ours, not BMW's. Do not want to miss out this double bubble. The signatory roof for Supra. Speaking of which, another bummer that they did not throw in the Targa model like they did in MK4 for the obvious reason, right? The BMW Z4 right there being unconvertible. You do not want to throw that feature in on a Supra because that will more than for sure suck up the population desiring for the convertible tops. The Supra is built in Austria, and the last model that was built in North American market was back in 1998. That was the last production date for the Supra, and of course the Supra being the MK4 one. And there are some interesting features and stories behind this Supra over here. And a lot of people will make fun of this fake vents that are here and also here and also right here and also this vent right here. Toyota says that they left the vents all covered up intentionally because if they left all the ducts open, and also one over here too, right there, that they've calculated that this car would get overcooling. So, and Toyota knows that a lot of aftermarket parts will be available for the Supra, which already there is even is a over-fender version for body kits for the Supra, you know, Stradman and all that. So speaking of which, for its stock performance, the Supra is already capable of pulling out its potentials as is. So they did the design, but they left the vents closed so that it's not overcooled. It's always the heat that's an issue, right? So people sometimes go through the hassle of drilling holes in the bumpers and whatnot to get that extra cooling and also the intake and air. But Toyota saved their time. They did the design, they did the vents, but they just closed it so you can open it up and let that vent through so that you can get that extra and additional cooling that you need. This is actually an official statement from Toyota, and many people criticize that this Toyota Supra is, you know, not so much Toyota Supra, but Toyota Z4 or BMW Supra, blah blah. But I think it's just perfectly okay because, come on, it's been a long time ever since sports cars have been making money for the manufacturers. They know for a fact that this will not be cash cow. You know, this might not even bring them back to the BP point of their, you know, R&Ds on and the investment spent on the Supra, but rather they build this car as a gift to those of enthusiasts. So, you know, you can name on and on, but how many cars have been discontinued or seem to be discontinued ever since this last model? Well, let's get started with my car, the Z. It's already been, it was back in 2009 since it first came out as a production model. So it's been more than good 12 years ever since it, and I don't even, there's not even a news or update about its successor. So big props to Toyota for that. and it's only logical to cooperate with other cars to save up some parts and money on their investment level, or excuse me, development level. And come on, they teamed up with a freaking BMW who has the M's, right? How much better can it get? Honestly, think of Toyota teaming up with Mercedes or Audi in that matter. I think they did the best, choice, and also big props to BMW teaming up with Toyota. So I think it's a win-win for both. And speaking of which, a lot of people pointed out, the BMW logos here, and it's got BMW badge here and there imprinted. But what I just discovered right here is this right here. So the stock wheels, look at this. It's a stock rim, and stock wheels. But do you see the tire? Pilot Sport. But do you see this? Do you see the star? That star means it's a tire for M. I know because I have that issue with the F80 M3, and yep, I went through such and such, and because of the warranty regulations are really tough in Korea. But however, yeah, so that star mark on a Michelin PSS, that's another BMW at work. They got the livery, the Supra. It's really unfortunate that it only stays here for this today, and they didn't even go through much of a hassle advertising such events. So I am here all by myself, and big props to Toyota Gangnam letting me record this whole event. And speaking of that collaboration, just to name a few off my head, I can recall the BRZ FRS and GT86, of course, and the Miata with Fiat 124, and also the Supra and the Z4, right? Manufacturers will save a lot of money, but carry down the legacy of the cars that they had before, and make cars. So also right here, where you see the chassis, right here, and where the side skirt sits, Toyota really made a big emphasis that they did this intentionally so that it will bring up the rigidness of the car, which they did. And they pull out the number, and it even is more stiffer than that of a LFA. Yes, the supercar LFA that Toyota made about a decade ago or even more. So as said, starting off with the steering wheel, if you cover up the badge exactly like a BMW, everything, all the keys and functions, even the pedal shift, these are from the BMW. And also the center console, and I wish I could show it to you guys, but I can't. But this feature right here, it fires up like so. So even this is straight from the BMW. Yes, chime. Thing that's unique to the Supra is also this gauge cluster right here. I wish once it starts running, it shows you the tachometer becomes red and shows you the revving and all that. Kinda this part right here, these things, two clusters, kind of a reminiscent of that of a GT86, saying that hey, I'm still Toyota. Carbon interior, nice touch, and everything from the BMW feels like BMW, touches like BMW. And I want to point this out, big gigantic sports button, kind of shows you, or it's kind of saying that hey, go on a sports mode. And yes, you can turn off the VDCs and so on and so on. And this is the key, exactly like the BMWs. One thing I want to point out is that this part right here, the sun visor, is stuck in, so you can't pull it out to cover the sunshade, have no sunshades on your left.
And for that exact reason, you don't have any part, coming off of this area, or excuse me, this area, for that additional shade, which you don't have. This is the base model, but so there will be no HUDs, unfortunately. All right, let's pop the hood. Excuse me, the trunk.
And as said, you can only open it from the outside with a key, or you have to go inside and open up the trunk like so. So I just popped it, right? Actually, if you look inside, it's not that bad. I wonder what those are. Probably the woofers, right? So the trunk space is quite huge compared to what you would see in a conventional cars. And when I did the research, is that it could hold up to the two identical tires stacked up right on top. So, but I am a little sarcastic about that. I mean, one for sure. Yeah, one will fit for sure. But I'm a little skeptical about the second one. But if you take this off and then stack it up there, probably it does the magic. Of course, safety latch. Yep, if you ever get stuck. And I like this nice little handle right here, because a lot of coupe, you see that dust marks left on the hood just because they just don't have any part to pull down on. Hey, it even shows you how to fold them and install them. So that's the trunk. And also, yes, one more thing. Remember when I said about that fake exterior and vents, and then they did that on purpose? And one more thing that Toyota made a big emphasis on is this part right here. If you take this part off, you'll see the reinforcement parts. That's because Toyota knows people will be putting on the spoilers, or big ass spoilers, or even GT spoilers on the back. So they put that there because when they did the calculation, the stock one doesn't hold. So they put the reinforcement there. That's definitely Toyota, or if not, Japanese spirit. Because they know so much about their car. They know what people are going to do with their car. So they did that already. And also, one of the YouTubers came out, confronted the developer and saying that, hey, if you left all that open and did that for yourself, is there a good chance? I mean, the question was more like, why didn't you guys do it in the first place? There will be demands for that and that and that. Why didn't you do it for yourself? And the answer was, they could. And it seems like that they would. And I'll show you one big evidence of that on the engine bay. And of course, you gotta pull that twice because it's a Beamer, right? And I don't know if any of you guys will agree with this, but come on, it's the JDM. You're not supposed to have those shock absorbers. You're not supposed to have the hood trunk support like that. You gotta have that good old steel metal sticking out right here so I can stick it in somewhere. Also, Toyota made a big emphasis that they got two latch for the hood, because that's what a sports cars have got to have. Because you drive fast, one is not enough. And yes, going back to the story of that, leaving the vents covered and etc. Another emphasis that Toyota made is this part right here. And they even left this right here so that you can bolt on the aftermarket supports. And right here too. So, the extra strut for more rigidness according to your need, you can throw that in and install it just right here. Plug and play. You don't believe me? I'll show you the right side. They got one right here too. Just like that. So that it will complete that hexagonal design and the support for the car. And yeah, you uncover the engine cover, you'll see the whole bunch of BMW
but I don't want to do that. Just the only display car here at the moment, so just right here says BMW, and I've seen one right here too. Right here, BMW. Don't get confused. So I wonder if you can get the same exact part from a BMW and put it on the Supra right here, because in Korea the parts for Toyota cars are outrageous, starting off with Toyota GT86. Very nice touch and detail. Who would hate this Toyota Supra, man? And I know that there is a BMW logo as well on the windshield blades. So I just checked out this fake vent right here and looked into the inside. Well, after all, I guess it seems like you gotta cut them to have the vents flowing in and out. But definitely, these parts right here, they're really easy to do. I already see people installing some LEDs and lights over there. It's such a joy to spend my time with this beautiful Supra.